Hi, and welcome to another episode of News You Can Use. This is a show where we try to delve a little bit into some topics around the district that we thought would be of interest to you. On today's show, we're going to tell you about the Red Clay Education Foundation. This is a group of volunteers who raise money for things that are not included in the Red Clay budget. They've been around for 12 years, have done a number of good works, and are coming up with a new fundraising program that's going to be launched later in the month of November. So please stick with us today because I think that you'll be quite impressed when you hear of all the different things that the RCEF has done and accomplished for the district. Stay with us. Hi, and welcome back to News You Can Use. As promised, I'm joined by Mr. Ralph Kubler. He is the president of the aforementioned Red Clay Education Foundation, a group of dedicated volunteers who provide a number of services to our district. Welcome, Mr. Kubler.
Thanks very much, Patty. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, definitely. So for those people who aren't aware of what it is, tell us what the Red Clay Education Foundation is.
I'd be glad to. Real briefly, it was set up in 2005, and it's a nonprofit 501c3 that was established to supplement funding for school projects that don't normally fall within the school's budget.
Right.
And we conduct various fundraising events throughout the year and then work closely with the superintendent of the district to meet funding needs that he might otherwise go unmet.
Right.
So.
And everyone serves on a volunteer basis?
Yes, we have a maximum of 16 board members. There is some minor rotation, but everybody is a volunteer. They're community leaders, government officials, parents, business people, we some educators. So we really have a diverse group, and they really are very representative of the community that Red Clay serves.
Okay.
And everyone's associated with the Red Clay School District in one way or another.
And they're some of our biggest fans, and
Absolutely.
we love the RCEF board members. Now I know for certain since '05 I've seen some of the good works that the RCEF has done, from distance learning labs to students traveling for academic competitions. Tell us about some of the projects that you've been able to fund.
In the early years, we actually raised a lot of money for the Conrad Schools of Science, the Delaware Military Academy, Cab Calloway School of the Arts. But that was back when foundations were giving money to the school system, and we could write grants for that. Well, more recently, we've had to rely on donations from parents, annual fundraisers, a golf outing, different galas that we sponsor to raise the money. So it's not quite as large as in the past. But in the last 2 years, I made some notes of things that we funded.
Okay.
And briefly, we spent over $18,000 in the Red Clay School District for scholastic reading books, $12,000 to transport elementary school children to the Waterwise programs where they learn how to swim.
Oh, that's a terrific program.
Over $10,000 to different Art Alliance programs. We support things like the First State Ballet, the Delaware Art Museum, the Grand Opera House, the Music School of Delaware, Delaware Symphony, Delaware Institute of Arts Education.
And these are Red Clay students going to participate in those.
These are programs that they're invited and in support of the organization because of what good they're doing for the Red Clay students.
Right.
We're supporting them also.
Okay.
With a donation. Last year, we started for the first time awarding $1,000 college scholarships to graduating seniors. We awarded $7,000. This year, we're going to renew that program.
Excellent.
And it's in honor of George Catamol, who was one of our founders of the Red Clay Education Foundation, who passed away last year. We also have spent over $40,000 for the special events that you mentioned earlier, things like Science Olympiad, STEM Summer Camp, Odyssey of the Mind, various school trips, parent-teacher luncheons and dinners, and award banquets. We support the teacher retirement parties.
That's right.
The RCF Hall of Fame. So it's a gamut of things that normally are, many times it's things not allowed in the school budget to be
Right,
funded,
right.
or things that are complement where there's not enough money, but our contributions add to it, so more kids can participate.
Is there an overriding philosophy for what you and the board members have as to what you decide you will support for Red Clay?
Everything has to be related to the education of the students.
Okay.
And it's really, we try to make sure that it addresses all of the student needs. We try not to focus on any one area,
Right.
but we want to make sure, because Red Clay is such a representative community,
Sure.
we want to make sure all those areas are represented. And it's been working really well. I mean, a lot of what we do doesn't get much publicity, but that's not what we're in it for. We're in it for helping the kids.
Well, we should give you some more publicity
Okay,
because
great.
I know that the RCEF does a lot of good works. What's coming up? What's in the works now? What's exciting coming up?
Well, we have the Hall of Fame Gala again.
Right.
We raise money for that through people paying to attend the dinner event, and there's a little bit of a markup, so the excess goes to charity. We have our annual golf outing. We're going to be having our 7th annual golf outing. And we look to corporate sponsorships there. The individuals, it's kind of a break even for the participants who play golf, and the awards that they get for winning, like hole in one and, well, not hole in one, but closest to the pin or longest drive. But the real key there is we get local community businesses
Right.
to sponsor that
Right.
event. And that becomes quite substantial. We have an annual giving program, and that's been very successful. A lot of people give to United Way, and we're United Way beneficiaries, so
Yes.
they can designate the Red Clay Education Foundation as one of the charitable organizations that they want to make their donations eligible for. And that helps a lot. I get some sizable checks throughout the year from especially the de Tocqueville Society.
Yes.
So it's
Oh, I
good.
didn't know that.
And then just from time to time, parents and small businesses, a lot of the parents of Red Clay, their parents own small businesses, and they hear about something that we've done for kids in their school, and they'll just write a check and send it to the foundation saying, we want to help too.
Oh,
And that's always a nice
terrific.
surprise, but it's a fair
Yeah.
number of small businesses and parents. And what I always tell everybody, the amount is as important as just the act of giving. And to us, those checks add up.
Yeah.
So you get a couple of those checks, and before you know it, you got a couple $100 or $1,000, and those can fund a lot of student initiatives.
Okay, so now I know that you've had a long career with grants, dealing
Right.
with grants, and why don't you tell us a little bit about your background before you came to the foundation?
Well, how I really got started in this, my whole career was in banking,
Yes.
and actually had no interest in education, even though my sister, my wife, and my brother-in-law are all teachers.
Okay.
So I was close to education, but I was not involved in it myself. And then back before I retired, I worked at MB&A, and Mr. Cawley, our chairman, asked me to set up the Education Foundation. And I kind of looked at him quizzically and said, "Why are you asking me? I don't know anything about education." And he said, "Because I know you'll do a good job at it."
Okay.
And since then, I've just gotten a passion. He gave me a free hand to do it, and one of the most successful things I take credit for setting up was the Education Grants Program.
I know.
Where we gave teachers grants throughout the state of Delaware. We were funding that with over $3 million a year. We also had a high school college scholarship program for in-state students going to in-state colleges and universities of $3 million a year.
Right.
And then I just, through that, I got involved with almost all the school districts, all 19 school districts, all the superintendents, and I got involved in arts education and public allies and juvenile diabetes, a lot of different organizations. I was also in charge of corporate giving, so I got to know a lot of the nonprofits in the state, and I've just stayed involved.
Okay.
I've been retired for 11 years, but I'm on a lot of different boards, and I stay active.
Yes, I
And
know.
I
you-
enjoy it.
And we appreciate how active you are for Red Clay.
Great.
For the Education Foundation. I understand our next guest is going to be telling us in some detail about a new fundraising effort that the foundation is going to be mounting.
Yes.
This is going to be Giving Tuesday.
Yes.
Yes. And
I'll let Yvonne talk about that more
Okay.
because she's closer to that than I am.
right,
And she's done a lot of research on it. But Yvonne's role is going to be to supplement what we do in the foundation as a grant writer and a fundraiser.
okay.
And she's invaluable because she's known by everybody in the community.
Yvonne Johnson, for
Oh,
those.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
She just can go by Yvonne.
That's how I know her last name, but everybody just calls her by Yvonne. You're right.
That's right.
Anyway, she's very well known in the community. She's got more energy than anybody I've ever met. She's not afraid to ask for support and for donations. She's already done extensive research on foundations that I wasn't even aware of that support education initiatives.
Okay.
So she'll be working closely with the school district to find out what their needs are and what grant opportunities there are to match up those needs. And that's something that it's going to be kind of like a job for her. She's going to dedicate 40 to 50 hours a month doing that. And that's
Excellent.
time that us as board members don't have.
Right.
So it's early on in the foundation, we did have a grant writer, and it benefited us, so we kind of revisit it now and said now's the
Nice.
time to bring it back and do it again.
Very good. And how does someone, if they want to learn more about the foundation, about your work, and how do they get, or to donate, how do they
We have a
do that?
website. You can go
Okay.
to the Red Clay website, and there's a link to the Red Clay Education Foundation on it.
Okay.
It talks about our mission statement. It has a list of all of our donors. It talks about the different programs that we've supported over the last, let's say, 2005, 12 years now.
Yeah.
And you can also make a donation through that, so
Okay.
it's all there.
Okay, terrific. Well, on behalf of Red Clay, thank you so much for all the work that you've done and continue to do with the Red Clay Education Foundation. It really supports some very important programs.
Well, I'd like to just say thank you because I've known you this entire time. I don't think there's anybody who works harder.
Oh,
and there's a
thank
lot
you.
of difficult situations that come up in public schools. And when I always see how you're charged with responding to the community, I'm amazed at what a good job you do. And I always think I could never do it as well as she
Oh,
does it.
thank you.
So you're a real pro.
Oh, we're not going to edit that part
And
out.
then
We're
one
going to
other
leave
thing
that
I'd
in.
like to say, I do principal for a day every year.
Right.
And I just was at Skyline and Moat. And
Okay.
I think I've been to just about every school in the Red Clay School District now, and I am so impressed with the quality of the administrators and the teachers, the educators in those schools, and the assistants and the I'm not sure what you call them.
Paraprofessionals?
Paraprofessionals. The challenges they have, and sometimes the student bodies that they have to work with, I almost want to say they're miracle workers. But the dedication, the enthusiasm, the quality of the schools, the maintenance staff. You go in any Red Clay school, it's spit shine like the military. It's just Red Clay's got its act together. The other thing I forgot to mention that we have funded in the past are billboards
Yeah.
that we put up in the
summer, that's right.
To highlight the accomplishments
That's
of Red
right.
Clay and the initiatives that they're focusing on. And I just think I'm so proud of being associated with Red Clay. Both of my daughters went there. They got a fantastic education. And through the 12 years that I've been associated with it, they're leaders in everything, in test scores and graduation rates and minimizing school dropout and everything. They're just a class act. So I'd like to add my thanks to everybody associated with Red Clay.
Wow, I think we're going to leave this
Good.
one on for a good long time, Ralph.
Thank you.
So
My
much
pleasure,
for being
Patty.
in today.
Good seeing you again.
And stay with us because when we come back, we will be talking about the new fundraising program that RCEF is going to start soon. So stay with us.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
You are watching a TV.
Fire!
You're watching a TV.
It's me, Eddie McGrath, the science guy.
You're watching ATV. You're watching EdTV.
You are watching EdTV.
You're watching EdTV.
learn, grow.
Well, welcome back to News You Can Use. And as promised, we're joined by Yvonne Johnson, a very well-known advocate for parents' rights in Delaware and an active member of the PTA for many years. And now Yvonne is working with the Red Clay Education Foundation to assist in some fundraising and in some grant writing. As you just heard from Mr. Kubler, the foundation does a number of good works around the district that the budget cannot support. So this is important work that's happening for our students. But tell us, Yvonne, you have a new exciting fundraising plan coming up. So tell us what it's all about.
So thank you for having me today, Patty. I am super excited. The Red Clay Education Foundation has never done anything like this, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers have heard of Giving Tuesday. And those of you that don't know what it is, Giving Tuesday started about 5-6 years ago, sort of in the same lines as Black Friday,
And
Cyber
Cyber
Monday,
Monday.
Small Business Saturday. So this is Giving Tuesday, and many organizations and businesses have that end of year giving. So they allot a certain amount of money for giving, and they have to make the donation prior to the end of the calendar year.
Right.
And even individuals like you and myself, your giving is tax deductible. And so they have many organizations do it. And it started about 5 or 6 years ago, like I said, in New York City to capitalize on this end of year giving. And it was very successful, and every year it grows and it grows. And it's a great way for our Red Clay residents, our partners, our community to get involved and support the district initiatives that the Red Clay Education Foundation helps out. Like you said, our budgets are very small in the district, and they can't support certain things. So a great example is Dr. Doherty, our superintendent, does this thing called Dr. D's Books.
Right.
And he gives every student a book. I believe it's in 3rd grade, but it's in elementary. And that's something that's awesome because we have to promote literacy. So this is something that the foundation would support. We also do WaterWise. It's a water safety program that the YMCA provides for the students, and it's awesome, but they need money for transportation. So that's something else. So these other things, when there's a student from schools, a lot of our schools participate in Odyssey of the Mind, Science Olympiad, Math Works, all those things, and they need transportation, they might need money for registrations, and those are the types of things, one of the types of things that the foundation supports. They support other things that the schools need, but that the budget might not allow for.
One of the major projects was the distance learning labs.
Absolutely.
The one at Conrad and the one at AI High School. And these are classrooms that are set up to be connected so that a teacher at AI High can be giving a class that the students at Conrad are also taking.
Right.
And it allows us to expand the number of classes that we offer.
Exactly.
So a lot of their projects really do focus on the academics.
On the academics, and there's also STEM initiatives,
Yes.
especially in the 4th and the 5th grade, because the state, again, like I said, they do not fund it. And then if we paid for it out of our money in Red Clay, that budget would come out of local funding.
Right.
And obviously that's all allotted for. And something else that it supports are scholarships. It's called the George Catamaral. I might be saying that wrong.
No, that's
but,
right.
They give a rising student, a senior that's going to be going into college, an opportunity to apply for a grant. And we give out a grant in each of the high schools. And that's, of course, an awesome thing, and it absolutely has to be supported by a foundation. And the Red Clay Education Foundation is been around, I would say, I don't know if Ralph talked
Ralph
about
said
it.
since 2005.
Right, I knew it was at least 10 years.
Yeah, 12 years.
And it's an amazing opportunity for the community to get involved in helping the support what we're doing in Red Clay. I mean, we have the highest number of enrolled students, and I think we're pretty respected because of the relationships that we have built with our community members and our partners with businesses. And this is a way for us all for them to give back to support these initiatives. That there's other things also that I know that Dr. Doherty has a list of things, and there's also going to be some grant writing being done. There's different grants that you can apply for actually that are just in Delaware, that are just for education, that are for initiatives such as the distance learning labs and things like that.
Right.
But the Giving Tuesday is the way we're kicking off our year for fundraising as far as, the fiscal year.
Okay.
And so we're really excited about that. I mean, there's other initiatives that we'll be doing as well, but right now the Giving Tuesday is going to be really marketed. It's basically a social media campaign.
Right.
So I'm working with Horace in your office, and we've already set up a Facebook page, which will go live probably by the end of this week, because I need to present this to the Red Clay Education Foundation board before we can launch. And there'll be a link to, all you have to do is click on, it'll be very secure, you make your donation, and it goes directly into the foundation's bank account. So
When is Giving Tuesday?
Giving Tuesday is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. We're also doing something that I think is going to be really cute, is we're going to launch in conjunction with Dr. Doherty's birthday.
Okay.
I could say how old he is, but he might not like that. So anyway, his birthday is November 13th, which is next Monday. And so we're sort of going to launch and say, have people, let's honor Dr. Doherty for his birthday and give, that's a very popular way to start a campaign. And the link will be very simple and easy, secure. It'll be through PayPal, which most people have. And it goes probably about 2 weeks prior to the actual Giving Tuesday, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, November 28th, and it goes to 2 weeks after.
Okay.
So capitalizing on that end of year giving.
Okay.
That's the whole idea
And
about
do you
it.
have a fundraising goal for the Giving Tuesday?
Well, we do. We would like to raise at least $25,000, but of course, if we could raise more, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
But we are making that our goal. It is our first year, and in everything that I've investigated about it, the first year is, it's just some people
Right.
don't even know what Giving Tuesday is. There are a lot of people out there that do know what it is, but I'm in that mindset that we have to educate the community on what Giving Tuesday is. But I feel that our community has always been very generous with our students and our district, and of course we make our schools great
Right.
by supporting our schools.
That's right.
And that only helps people have better property values, and it just increases, the value of what Red Clay brings to the table. So this is just another piece to it.
Right, exactly. And I think, too, that it's important for people to understand that, yes, people pay taxes, but that those taxes are very prescribed as to what they can be spent
Absolutely.
on. So the foundation is funding things that in some cases, state law and state regulation does not allow you to spend local dollars on. So these are things that
These are like extras.
Yes.
So that's what I was when I first,
it's almost like
yeah.
what a PTA does
Exactly.
for a school.
Right, and that's how I learned about Giving Tuesday, was through my work with National PTA. They have a Giving Tuesday, and I always give.
Right.
And I'm sure their idea was, we are trying to capitalize on Giving Tuesday because, as I said, it's only been around about 6 years.
Right.
And a lot of nonprofits have a Giving Tuesday.
Okay.
So it's and that's what I just want to be clear. I'm sure that Ralph said that the RCEF is a non-for-profit foundation.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And people know in the community that I have been so involved with referendums for many, many years, you and I together. And referendums are very specific, like you said, prescribed of what money can be used for. And that when I was alluding to the fact that we can't use local money just because we want to do this, that, and the other, because we can't. It's prescribed.
That's
By
right.
this state law, it says you have to use it for this, this, and this. So one of the things was one-on-one technology,
Right.
which the referendum supported, and that's what they could use the money for that. But we can't then say, oh, well, we're going to pay for money, for buses to take kids to Waterwise. It's just not permitted. So this is a way of supporting our and there is a piece to it that we're supporting the most needy students, the ones that might not have the money to travel to an Odyssey of the Mind World competition that could be in Michigan or wherever they have it, or California.
Right.
It's those kinds of
Right,
things. And we
right.
have, and those are great things that are going on in our schools, and it makes the things like that are only good. They make the children feel great. Thinking about giving a child a swim lesson, think about it. If we didn't have WaterWise, some of those children wouldn't even have had swim lessons.
The information that WaterWise hands out, they will tell you that unfortunately, drowning of urban children who do not learn how to
absolutely.
swim is a serious problem. I mean, it happens so quickly for a
Yes.
youngster. It's frightening.
It is, and I think it's an amazing thing that we're able to do this
That's right.
for our families.
That's
and
right.
so that it just, so Merv is at least 60. I will not say how old he is because he'll kill me. 62. Anyway, and so even if everybody gave $62, I mean, we'd love you to give more, but that would be an awesome threshold to have as a goal
Okay.
to honor Merv's birthday, because Merv is very generous. If he had $100 in his pocket, he would give 95 of it to a child in need.
Okay.
I think that people need to know that about him, because that's why I'm tying the campaign to that, because this is something that a lot of these initiatives are from him. Obviously, he's the leader of our district, he's our superintendent, and he is the one who created many of these initiatives. And so I thought it would be appropriate to honor him and tie it to his birthday.
Yeah, and what I like too about the RCEF is that it touches all of the schools. It
Yep.
touches
Absolutely.
every school is touched by and has benefited from the work of the RCEF, and people don't hear about it very often. So, we're very glad today to
Yeah.
shine a little light on the
Absolutely.
good works that are happening there. And thank you for coming on and,
Awesome.
and
Anytime.
bringing your expertise to helping this excellent fundraising effort. And remember, now people should look for it on Facebook. What's it going to be
There'll
called?
be a Twitter. Well, we're going to have a hashtag, 2 hashtags. One, we're trying to create a hashtag Red Clay Proud, so that we can use that continuing link throughout the school year, throughout the year. And then we're going to create a hashtag Red Clay Giving Tuesday.
Okay.
And so that'll be on Twitter. We're going to have a lot of presence on Facebook. Horace
Okay.
has already created the Facebook page. We're also going to you'll be hearing about it in your individual schools, because we're going to have the schools promoting it. Giving Tuesday is absolutely a social media campaign. That is how it became so popular.
Okay.
So even staff, that's, how there's a memo that goes out every Monday. I'm hoping that we can get that in there, so we can ask our staff to make some kind of a donation towards it. We just really want everyone to be involved, because it's for an amazing cause. It's to help our students, and like you said, it touches every child. So just think about this example. If you had 15 children going to an Odyssey of the Mind competition, as an example, and 5 of them couldn't afford to go, that would affect the team. And I'm a coach also, and so I know when one person's absent, it affects everybody.
Right.
So this is a great way to support those kids. You're really supporting all the kids that are involved, because if one person can't participate, it actually does affect everybody.
Right.
So, and then of course with the scholarships and the books and literacy, we have to make sure all our kids are reading by 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome, and I actually was there when the foundation got started, so it's very
Yes, me
exciting.
too.
Yes.
And if you're curious, go on redclayschools.com, look for the RCEF page. There's a list of the different projects and the various works that they've supported over the years, and you'll see the variety of what they've done.
Absolutely.
I think is very impressive. It runs the gamut of all the different needs that we
Yes.
have in our diverse district.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I hope that everybody gets out, and just makes, even if it's a small donation, to support the foundation, because it is an amazing
So you'll probably be
organization.
hearing about Giving Tuesday nationally from other organizations, and just keep in mind that what do they say? Think globally, act locally.
Yeah. It is a global effort.
Yeah.
So, and it's very exciting. I'm super excited about it happening with the foundation.
Okay,
So
great.
I think in 10 years, everybody will be using Giving Tuesday.
Okay.
So we're sort of in the middle, but still good.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Yvonne.
Thank you for
coming
having
on
me.
today. And stay with us. I'll have a couple of calendar reminders for you when we come back to finish up News You Can Use. Thanks again.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
You are watching NTV.
You are watching.
You are watching.
You are watching.
watching Ed TV.
You are watching.
You are watching. You are watching.
You are watching Ed TV.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to News You Can Use. This is Mark Your Calendar, where I give you a couple of reminders about what's coming up in Red Clay schools. Today marks the beginning of the choice period, which runs through January 10th, and you can apply online or at redclayschools.com, and you can also find online a schedule of all of the open houses at our various schools. This Friday, on November 10th, schools and offices will be closed for Veterans Day, and we have the monthly school board meeting on the 15th at Warner Elementary School at 7 p.m. As you've heard about on today's program, Giving Tuesday will happen on Tuesday, November 28th, and on the 30th, we have the district-wide Middle School Choral Festival at John Dickinson High School at 7 p.m. So there's, as always, a lot going on in Red Clay schools, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode of News You Can Use. Thanks very much.